the one that you want? This one seems pretty
I
dope.
don't even care.
Yeah.
What's up guys, this is Zero out of Kitsune, and let's talk about Mugen. Now I'm not talking about the character from Samurai Champloo, I'm talking about the program developed in 1999 by Elecbyte, a freeware 2D fighting game engine. Now why am I talking about this? It's because, you know, modding's been a thing I've been talking about lately. And fighting games have been a thing I've been talking about lately, and I thought, why not mash them together with a program I think more people need to know about. Now, Mugen, for me, back in the day of my childhood, freaking amazing. It was a program, like, if you think about all the mods of Skyrim and all that such, think about that done in a fighting game. Think about all the characters across thousands of fighting games that have been created all around the world, and think about people either rebuilding them from scratch, figuring out exactly all the frame data for that character from that game and recreating them in an arena where they could go up against other characters from other games, or taking those assets and creating something new, something unique. Things like rare Akuma and all that such. Google rare Akuma if you don't know what I'm talking about. It's pretty freaking awesome. But it's kind of something that's fallen to the wayside, at least I think it has, when it came to modding and fighting games. All I've seen lately is, you know, costume mods for various 3D fighting games. When I'm thinking, go to Mugen if you want cool mods. If you want to see an Armika chain 4 supers together and all just amazing things. And that's another thing though, amazing things. Modding in Mugen was a really amazing creative resource. You could see things that aren't done in modern fighting games either because, yeah, they're a little bit stupid, or because someone just didn't have the nuts to pull it off. You could see RPG functions remade. You could see platformer functions created in a game that only is supposed to have one plane to fight on. The limits of a fighting game's engine were pushed to the breaking point and then broken in Mugen, which is something I love to see in any genre. To the point that me, back when I was in middle school, used to make pretty shoddy Naruto characters and bring them to school and show them off to my teacher and allow the entire class to like corral around and play as long as I could properly explain the mathematical equations. It wasn't that hard. And everyone had a good time, and modding is about having a good time. But the reason why I think it's fallen to the wayside is because it's held back by how old the program is. I remember a little while back I talked to a pretty hardcore fighting game enthusiast, and he had a really I played around with it a couple years ago, but it wasn't all that great viewpoint of it, and I'm just mind blown. This person loves fighting games. This person is super enthused when a new fighting game comes out. He's the first person to know, and yet he was met on Mugen of all things. And then I realized it's because he was a hardcore fighter, and the things that hold Mugen back are things that hardcore fighters care about. The potential balance between fighters. In Mugen there was no balance, just flat out no balance, because it was hard to design a character with balance in mind to a million other characters. Sure, if I remember right, there was a forum, and that's where a lot of people corralled around to design characters, and there was a general understanding of where the balance of a character could be, but Mugen was large, vast. Thousands of people who didn't even go to the forums were creating characters, so balance was really hard. Another thing, though, this was, when I was asking about this had been past the onset of online fighters. This is after the huge shift from sitting on your couch with your buddies playing a video game to every one of your friends being at their own house and playing video games. And Mugen never had a properly running online version. There were some attempts here and there, but I never really saw one work. And I spent a good while back in the day trying to find one. So those were the aspects that really held Mugen back from just exploding and everyone knowing and loving on it. Actually, if you check Twitch TV, it should be running endlessly. There's a Twitch channel called Salty Bets, and it is basically Mugen being played endlessly with 2 CPU players and the chat simply making bets with bison dollars over who would win. It's kind of fun to experience. But I feel like these are things, the problems that were with Mugen could be fixed, and we could get an amazing resurgence of Mugen being this huge big thing if we just got a handful of the issues fixed. And basically they all stem with online, because even if you were able to make an online version of Mugen without it being balanced, no one would really care to try it. There's no reason to create a one-to-one recreation of Shinko from Darkstalkers, or at least her Marvel interpretation, and put it up against Rare Akuma. No reason. You won't do anything. You won't have fun. Or Omega Tom Hanks, or any of the super amazing OP ones. Even like Light Yagami, who was actually kind of a low tier god Mugen character. It wouldn't be fun fighting against those guys. But I think if someone were to create a online Mugen, if they simply added in not necessarily a filter for powerful characters, but like when they're designed, they would have a piece of code attached to them, and everyone would share this code. When you go into character select with another player, if you don't have the same characters in your thing, any character both players didn't have would be grayed out. If you didn't want to fight Rare Akuma, don't download and install Rare Akuma. I feel like that would make the online a little bit more balanced. Install the characters that you want to fight against, and if someone shows up and you see a cool character in their roster that looks pretty interesting but you don't have it, Google it, ask them where it got it, then get it, fight them again. This time y'all can both use that interesting new character. I just really want Mugen to get the level of support that things like Skyrim modding does. Or to be honest, I want every modding resource to have the quality of Skyrim modding. Or if a game has even higher quality of modding than Skyrim, I personally don't know of which, but maybe someone who watches this video does. I want modding to be on equal foot in all genres, because I do personally feel modding is an amazing resource to anything. You could get people who originally created mods for games to later go on to develop full games. I'm not personally happy with the state of fighting games, but maybe someone who dicked around in Mugen one day realizes, you know, I could make money off these ideas. And do not limit yourself to that modding. I was gonna make this point in a separate video, but no, I'll add it to this one. Probably less people see it because, you know, the title of the video won't attract as many people. But when you mod for like Skyrim or Mugen or anything, one day take that talent, because there's a lot of talent in modding, and I don't think paid mods is the way to go when it comes to people getting recognized for their talent. I think they should one day split off, use modding as a stepping stone, as a potential portfolio, and then go off to create your own ideas. Use a Kickstarter, use an Indiegogo, show off these mods as an example of what you can do with no monetary incentive, just because you were driven to do it. And then create a game that blows people's minds, and if you have problems with any of the source materials that you're creating, create a better game. When you mod, you show you have the talent to do so. All you need is the incentive, potentially the monetary incentive to do it. And I don't like where fighting games are right now. It's getting better, but you know what? Someone could stand up and make something better than Street Fighter V. Someone could stand up, make something better than Xrd. Stand up, make something better than Ugly Face NetherRealms games. No offense, I love NetherRealms games. But you get my point. And for action RPGs like the Elder Scrolls series or RPG shooters like Fallout, make a better game. A lot of people aren't happy with how Bethesda's acting. The modding community is vast and large and needs a lot of money. Maybe they could come together, make a better game, and then make that money that they wanted in the first place. But that's all I gotta say about that. I kinda went a little bit off topic. Tell me if you like these unedited ones. 50-50 on how I feel about them, but they are easier to make. Either way, I'll see you guys next time.
Come on!